Welcome, everyone, to the Tuesday, March 4th, 2025 Tumwater City Council meeting. We will start off with roll call.
Councilmember Leetta Dahlhoff.
Present.
Councilmember Angela Jefferson.
She is excused this evening.
Councilmember Joan Cathy.
I don't see her at the moment. We'll see if she attends in a little bit.
Councilmember Eileen Swarthout.
Present.
Councilmember Michael Althauser.
Present.
Councilmember Peter Agabe.
Present.
Councilmember Kelly Von Holtz.
She's also excused this evening.
And Mayor Debbie Sullivan.
And I'm present. Join me in our salute to our flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, our first item is public comment. And I'm getting the roster. First, do we have anyone signed up online?
I am looking right now. And right now I have no one online.
All right. On the sign-up sheet is Josh Fowler. If you come to the podium and state your name and your address for the record, and 3 minutes is the time.
Hello there. My name is Josh Fowler. I live at 318 WD Street in Tumwater, Washington. I have two questions, and my first one is for you, Madam Mayor. Hello. It is regarding Councilwoman Dalhoff being made Mayor Pro Tem, with you having been in office for 3 years, and Councilwoman Dalhoff for 8, and with candidate registration for mayoral candidates still 62 days out. My question to you is why her and why now? Thank you.
All right, we usually don't answer questions, but I'm not clear on what your question is.
My question to you is why did you choose Councilwoman Dalhoff as your Mayor Pro Tem with 62 days left for the mayoral candidates?
Well, I'll just clarify. I don't select the Mayor Pro Tem. The Mayor Pro Tem is selected by council, and she was selected in January of last year.
Oh, is that right? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you. My follow-up question was going to be, with respect, do you feel it is appropriate for City Hall to have preference for one candidate for mayor over another? But my understanding is that it is not you who selects it, or not City Hall?
No, it is selected by the council members. They choose who they wish to have represent them as the Mayor Pro Tem.
Oh, okay. So it's just like a vote thing or something.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, those are my questions.
Great.
I appreciate your time. Thank you.
All right. Any other questions from the audience? And just for the record, I normally don't answer questions, but that was one that I just think I can clarify. So, all right. With no other person coming to the podium, I will go ahead and ask for a motion to approve the consent calendar.
So moved.
I'll second the motion.
All right, we've been moved and seconded to approve the consent calendar. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 All those opposed, nay. All right, the consent calendar is approved. And before I go through the list, I want to make note that Councilmember Cathy is in attendance. All right, with that, we have approved minutes from the City Council work session of February 11th. Approval of the minutes of the Special Council Joint Planning Commission tour from February 25th. Payment vouchers, ordinance number O-2025-005, amending the Tumwater Municipal Code, 12.28, public events. Service provider agreement with Fuller Design for the Beehive Industrial Area Stormwater Retrofit design project, traffic signal controller and detection upgrade equipment purchase, and an advisory board appointment for Wendy Modi, who will now be the third member of the Civil Service Commission. So with that, we will move to council considerations. And that would be ordinance number O 2025-004, suspending annual comprehensive plan amendments. Is that correct?
Mhm.
Okay. Brad, go ahead. I just thought I was reading this wrong. It's been a day.
No, it's an unusual one. What's before you tonight is a request of the council adopt ordinance number O 2024-004. Actually, that should be 2025-004. It's an amendment to chapter 1860 of the Tumwater Municipal Code as recommended by the General Government Committee at their February, should be 2025. The person who wrote this obviously didn't read it very closely. I apologize. Essentially, the request is this. In 2022, the council suspended the annual amendment process for the comprehensive plan because we are going through the state mandated update of the comprehensive plan. And the annual amendment process could potentially conflict and take away time needed to actually address the overall update. In 2022, the deadline for completing the comprehensive plan update process was June 30th of 2025. Since that time, the state legislature has extended our deadline to the end of this year, December 31st. And we would like to extend this particular timeline for not accepting comprehensive plan amendments as part of this process to match that of the deadline for the periodic update. Now, public requests and so forth will always be received by the staff, and as we can, we will incorporate those into the overall update, but we won't have a formal process this year for an amendment cycle.
All right. Any questions? Council Member Swarthout.
Thank you. So we won't be looking at, we'll be doing a comp plan or asking for them for next year then, or what's the timeline? What's it look like then if we go back to doing
So
that?
we'll restart the amendment cycle next year.
Mhm.
Typically, we start soliciting and looking for potential amendments during the year ahead of that. And then we take formal application during the course of the year. The council then has the opportunity towards the end of 26 to make a judgment on what additional amendments should be considered. And so we'll restart the process at that time.
And then for what you said, it sounds like if we have some that we have to address immediately, then we have that flexibility to do that.
Correct.
Because typically we don't have to do, so I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right. Any other questions? And if I'm not mistaken, we need to have action. Councilman Rawlhauser.
Thanks, Mayor. Yeah, we discussed this at length at the General Government Committee meeting. It's kind of standard procedure for when we need to focus on our comp plan updates to really sort of focus our strengths on making sure that that document receives the attention it deserves. So we unanimously recommended that we adopt this ordinance. So with that, I will make the motion that we adopt ordinance number O 2025-004, amending chapter 18.60 of the Tumwater Municipal Code as recommended by the General Government Committee at their February 18th, 2025 meeting.
I'll second. This is Leota.
All right. It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion on the motion? With that, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. All right, the motion carries. This is going to possibly be a very easy meeting this evening. We only, that was the only item that needed to action on our meeting, on our agenda this evening. So with that, we will move to committee reports. And the first one is Public Health and Safety. Councilmember Agabi.
Thank you, Mayor. Our meeting is in the future on March 11th, and I only see one item, and that is a prosecution update. That is a report for Public Health and Safety Committee meeting.
Thank you. The next one is General Government Committee, Councilmember Althauser.
Thank you, Mayor. The General Government Committee has not met since our last meeting, but we are meeting 2 weeks from today in the morning at 8 a.m. Again, that's a special meeting. We typically would be meeting on March 12th, but our next meeting is March 18th. I'm really excited for that agenda. We're going to be covering a couple elements of the comp plan, including the climate element as well as the housing element, which is obviously an issue area that's near and dear to my heart. We'll also be covering the food system plan, a couple of different road annexation petitions, and conditions of acceptance for the Yorkshire apartments.
Okay, great. Then we will go to the Public Works Committee. Councilmember Swarthout.
Oh, thank you, Mayor. We did meet on February 6th, and items D, E, and F from today's consent calendar were, we took action on at that time. We will be meeting this Thursday at bright and early at 8 a.m. And looking over at his agenda, we only have one thing this time compared to.
You can have
what
some
he
of
must
ours.
have. So we have the First Amendment to the Service Provider Agreement with Furr and Pierce for the Transportation Plan of the 2025 Comprehensive Plan Periodic Update. We'll be
Great.
hearing that on Thursday.
Great, thank you. And on last Friday, we had the Budget and Finance Committee. We're going to be holding those monthly. And two of the items that we had talked about, and of course I left my notes on my desk, was we reviewed the budget. So we're going to be going through and reviewing the budget on a monthly basis, bringing that information to the council on a quarterly basis, just so that everyone can see it more readily. And there we go. Sorry, I'm pulling it open now. And then we also had the other item that we had was an employee agreement. So with directors, what we discovered is that directors some have employment agreements, some do not have employment agreements. Some of them are like decades old. And so what we're trying to do is standardize them. And so we went through and reviewed that. We will be bringing that to a council meeting at a work session, a council meeting our next council meeting in 2 weeks. And then, so we will discuss that. But then this will standardize it so that everyone is kind of is similar, and anyone new coming in will have the same. So that was the two items we discussed at that. So now we'll go to the Mayor's City Administrator report, and we'll start out with City Administrator Parks.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, council members. I wanted to first take this opportunity to introduce you to the new Assistant City Administrator, Kelly Adams. I'm going to ask her to come up so that she can introduce herself to you. I think the best thing about Kelly is that she's from Lacey, which means that she is now working for Tumwater instead of working for Lacey. So we're happy to have Kelly. She actually comes to us with high regard from the City of Lacey. We're grateful for the experience she got at the City of Lacey. She's been working in special projects in the city manager's office. So she has a wide breadth of experience, and we're super excited to have her on board. So Kelly, do you want to come up and tell us a little bit about yourself?
Good evening, Mayor and City Council. It is an honor to be here with you tonight. Your staff and the people of Tumwater have been incredibly warm and welcoming. So this has not been a difficult transition in that way. I have been with the City of Lacey in the City Manager's office for 7.5 years, working on a variety of special projects, including improving transparency and access to public information, building systems like a 311 type system for Lacey, which we didn't have before, and basically helping anywhere and everywhere possible. So I appreciate this honor, and I look forward to meeting with you in the future.
We're very excited to have her, Kelly, here, and I can't imagine anybody's more excited than Lisa.
I'm very
You know,
excited.
it's too much for one person. And, this is why other cities have assistant city managers, and it is really too much for one person to do. So I will turn it back over to you. Thank you.
Thank you. So I wanted to provide an update to the council on the Utility Lifeline program. This is our utility bill payment assistance program that we have had implemented for quite some time during the budgeting process, we committed to the council that we would do some outreach to our community. At the time last year, towards the end of last year, we had about 190 of our utility customers who were taking advantage of this program. It's a program that reduces utility rates by 50% for those who meet income qualifications, low-income seniors, low-income people with disabilities. So in response to questions about that program, we were able to develop an outreach that we implemented. We basically identified people on the Thurston County tax rolls who live in the city of Tumwater who qualify for reduced tax burden due to their income and or age. And we sent them a letter and we said, you may qualify for this program. So we sent that out late last week. Yesterday and today, we have been inundated with 46 different applications, and 44 of those have been approved already. The other 2 were not, simply because they didn't quite qualify for the income. But we did want to share that with you and let you know that our outreach is taking place and it is having a great impact. The other piece of information I will share is Alyssa was really excited to let us know that Energize Thurston has gone live as of yesterday. This is the program that allows for low-income folks to take advantage of some grant funds to help them implement more energy efficient appliances, heat pumps, those types of things in their home. And the very first information workshop, which people are required to go to before they can qualify for this program, is being held on March 20th here in Tumwater. It's going to be held at Tumwater High School from 6:30 to 7:30. And if you go to the Energize Thurston website, it has a variety of the dates of those different workshops and more information about the program itself. Some of those information workshops will be online only. Some are in person only. Several of them, I think Alyssa pointed out there's one coming up very soon that actually has, it's an online version that has Spanish language for those who need those services to help them understand our program. Just a heads up for you. We have been working at the management team level on preparing annual department reports. And our plan is to begin to schedule those for work sessions before the council. The idea being that we wanted to have each department director give you a brief update on what the highlights of 2024 were, what they accomplished in 2024, and also to talk a little bit about what some of their priorities are in 2025. We deeply recognize that you have a strong understanding of all of the different initiatives and projects that we bring to you for action and discussion at your committee meetings and at council meetings. And we also wanted to help you understand and communicate better with you and share with you more some of the day-to-day work that we do, which isn't as visible. So we're excited to begin bringing those to you over the next several weeks. Lastly, or second to the last, sorry, we just approved the service provider agreement with a firm, DHM Research, which is a community surveying group. So periodically, the city of Tumwater, about every 3 to 5 years, does a community survey. So we've contracted with this company. They are a Washington-based company. They come highly recommended. They competed well in our competitive solicitation process. We are going to be having them perform both a statistically valid survey, followed up immediately by a broadly available community engagement survey. So we're looking forward to that. That, along with our financial assessment and our financial analysis, will be some of the information that we'll be using throughout the year in our strategic planning process that we're going to be embarking on very soon with the council. And that is the final item, which is I hope to come to you in the next couple of council meetings with an update on what the work plan is and what the schedule will be for our strategic planning process for this next coming year. The goal being we'd like to have our strategic plan updated with specific work plan items that the council has developed, particularly as we head into 2026, which is when we will again begin our biennial budgeting process for the 2027-2028 biennium. So we're looking forward to that process, and That's all I have at this point, unless you have any questions.
Any questions? Nope, I don't see
right.
anybody raising their hand.
Thank you.
All right, so for my update, I've actually been kind of busy in the last couple of weeks. I attended on February 19th and 20th, I attended the AWC Legislative Action Days. And and I took the communications manager with me. And that was a very packed full agenda. There's so many things that affect cities and our community, and trying to keep up and having those discussions on what may seem standard can have really unintended consequences, and what fits for one area doesn't fit for all. And that's why it's always good to do this with the AWC, because you have representation from both west side and the east side of the mountains. So it really does create a good conversation. On the 21st, both Mayor Pro Tem Dahlhoff, City Administrator Parks, and myself attended the Three Cities County meeting. That is a bi-monthly, every other month meeting. I also attended the EDC. I'm now the representative for the EDC board, and there was quite a bit that we discussed on that, and that's a really important Economic Development Council. You should stop using acronyms. And one of the items is they've added to their board. The new member is David Ayel. He is with the Nisqually tribe, and so the Nisqually tribe has a representative. And Jasmine Vazdeveda from, I know I messed it up, I'm seeing it. I worked with her, and I have trouble with her name. Vasavada, there we go. And she is the chair of the Olympia Port Commission. So those were the two new added. We reviewed the budget for the EDC. It's very complicated, and they really do a lot on a very shoestring budget. It's pretty amazing. And then we also had a guest speaker to that, and he is the Vice President of Government Affairs of the Association of Washington Cities or Businesses. And he had a lot of very good information on a lot of the legislation that helped both jurisdictions and businesses. So it was a very good information. And then on Friday is, of course, when it's the end of the month, you get to go to retirement party. So we had a retirement police department and fire department. So I'm just hoping we don't have a whole bunch more. I mean, I'm happy that they're retiring, but yeah, that's a lot of institutional knowledge and amazing people that end up leaving the city, but they'll have fun being in retirement. So with that, we will go ahead and go to council member reports, and let me start in Zoom. Council member Agabi, do you have a?
Thank you, Mayor. My committee assignment starts next week. On Tuesday, I will have the Public Health and Safety Committee meeting. And the very next day, I will have the Transportation Policy Board meeting. Those are the only two things on the horizon for me.
Thank you. Councilmember Dahlhoff.
Thank you, Mayor. I will be with Councilmember Agabi at Public Health and Safety next week, General Government the week after that. And then I have Thurston County 911 Communications tomorrow. The first Opioid Abatement Council is tomorrow as well, and Administrator Parks and I will be attending. We will have an update for you all. And then I also have the Thurston County Opioid Response Task Force Prevention Subgroup coming up. So I will have more at our next meeting.
Thank you. Councilmember Kathy.
All of my meetings start tomorrow, I believe it is. So I've already reported on where I wandered around last month. So I will give a report at the next meeting.
Great, thank you. And then Councilmember Swarthout. Oh, hold on. I should turn your microphone on. There you go.
I too, my meetings don't start until this week, and so I have
Public Works on Thursday, and then have the Transportation Regional Policy Board or Committee on Friday.
Councilmember Althauser.
Thanks, Mayor. I did attend the Regional Housing Council meeting on February 26th. We had a few items that I think are worth noting and reporting back on. I think significantly, we did do election of chair and vice chair in that meeting. I've had the honor of serving as the chair of the Regional Housing Council for the past year, and I thought that it was time, and I'm a believer in rotational leadership, so I was proud to nominate Commissioner Klaus to serve in that role moving forward, and then I was nominated to continue in the vice chair role. So I'll continue to have a role in planning the meetings, planning our upcoming retreat, and helping organize that entity and setting our agendas. But I will be doing it from the vice chair role instead of the chair role for the coming year. After that, there were 2 funding requests that we also discussed. One was from the Homeless Services Advisory Board, and it was an emergency fund request. This is, I think, the second year where we've embarked on setting aside a small portion of our funding outside of our normal RFP process in order to have some capacity to fulfill emergency fund requests as they arise. We did have a request from OLIMAP for about $16,000 for harm reduction services for folks who are experiencing homelessness, things to keep warm over the winter, things like sleeping bags, dry socks, things like that. So we were able to fund that with our service provider. They were already doing some of that work, but had run through this particular budget and needed a small increase in order to be able to make those funds and those services last through the winter. There was also a request for the LOT Affordable Housing Support Program. That's the program where LOT offers essentially connection fee credits in order to help better facilitate and better pencil different affordable housing projects. There's a regional pool that we all contribute to. Tumwater contributes to that. We also have some of our own credits that we can do for local projects here. And the request was for the regional pool to award about $175,000 worth of connection fee credits that we had in an account for just this purpose. So we decided to award those credits for the Franz Anderson project. That'll be dozens of affordable housing units and will really be a great regional asset. After that, we did discuss our retreat, and we do have a date for that. It'll be on May 30th. I'm really excited about that. Now we sort of move into the phase of developing the agenda, which will, I think, focus on kind of what we envision the RHC to be over the next 5 years or so to come up with a strategic plan for how to address housing security in our region. That's my report.
Great, thank you. So this is a very easy, short agenda this evening. So with no other business, we are adjourned, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.